Greetings, salutations, it's me, James, your BA Sensei, back with another Power Query tutorial. Today we're going to do an interesting little example. We are going to take descriptions of various vehicles, cars, let's say. In this example, we're going to have 3 different cars, and we have a description of each of these cars. But what we want to do is we want to extract the features to create a feature matrix based on each description. So here you can see, here's the car description. You can see, how many of them are diesel? Take 2 of them. Shows how many of them have metallic color. Well, let me show you how to do it in Power Query. Alright, so the very first thing we do is we pull this data into Power Query. We have 2 tables. We have the table with the actual car identifier and the description of each car. This is the thing we're going to do a fuzzy lookup on. So this is what we want to look up, this description. And then we have a lookup table, a feature table. This table basically gives us the attribute we want to return as a result in the columns. And then the terms we are going to look up. And you can see, for instance, if we look at diesel, there are 2 keywords here, turbo diesel and TDI. For gasoline, we're looking at petrol. For 4x4, we're looking for 4-wheel drive and 4WD. So we're going to use these different terms to look up these attributes from the description. So first thing we do is we pull this data into Power Queries. We pull this main table in, data from table and range. It goes in. We call this the base table. Yeah, cool. And that's all varchar. It's going to load it to close and load. So I'm just going to create this as a connection only. Okay, and then we're going to pull the second table in, which is the feature table. We call this the table. Okay, this gives us a lookup for our features. Okay, so now we have the basis to start. First thing we're going to do is we're going to take this and we're going to unpivot these 2 columns. Alright, so now we basically have a very nice list of all the search items we're looking for in one column and then the value that we want to return in the other one. I'm going to take out the sort and we can delete this attribute over here. Okay. Let's call this the lookup value, and let's call this the feature description. All right, I'm just going to rename this thing over here. So I know I have a point in time that this is the specs table. Spec table, yeah, just rename that. I'm going to add a new step. In this new step, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use table, add column, yeah. And instead of referring to this table, I'm going to refer to the base table. The base table query, yeah. And now that I have the base table, I'm going to give this name. I'm just going to call this new column we're going to add. Let's call this result. Okay, that's the column name. And now I'm going to say for each of the values, say table, select rows, yeah. I now want to iterate through each item in this list. This list is actually called spec table. So I put in there spec table, the previous name of the previous step. That's the table we have, and you see in front of you right there. Now for this, I'm going to create a little inner query. I'm just going to call this the spec T for spec table. Yeah. And I'm going to add this little rocket hash there. I'm actually going to do an inner query. I'm going to say text contains, yes. So from our base table, we add that car description. I want to look up the car description, yeah. And I want to look that up in this spec table over here. You can see that step over there. I'm going to say spec T. I'm using that as the reference for this inner table. And I want to use lookup value, which is that column over there, as the thing I want to look up. I want to do a text contains of the car description, looking up values in this search column. And you can see that Power Query is case sensitive. So if I add turbo diesel in all small letters or non-capital letters, it will not pick up this value. So I need to switch that. I need to tell it to ignore the case. I'm going to say comparer, ignore ordinal case. That's as simple as that. I just close this up. And I return this, and this is magic. If I click here on this table over there, see it returns a table for, so basically the base table, it returns, if you look there, all the features that are met by this car description. You can see this is a turbo diesel, it's a 4-wheel drive, And these are the features we want on our feature matrix. And for the second one, these are the features we want to see in the feature matrix, and for this car as well. That's pretty cool. That's what we want. All right. Magic. Next thing, because I want to put it in the matrix, I'm just going to add another column. I'm going to say add a column. X column. Just call this X. Yes. So this will just return X's. All right. I'm going to expand this table. I don't want to really just look up that. I want to expand on the feature description. That returns all the features for me. All right. So next up, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the feature description. I'm going to head up because I want to pivot this now. I'm going to say pivot column. Yeah, and it's going to pop up here. And then I'm going to tell it, take the X column. Yes. And I don't want to do a counter. I want to do don't aggregate. And what it's going to do, it's going to return a feature matrix. Okay, so there's your pivot table. And if we bring this back, let's load this to table to a new worksheet. There you go. There's your feature matrix. It's pretty cool. So it's basically doing a fuzzy lookup and returning that in a matrix, a feature matrix. Well, I hope this video was quite helpful to you. It is really handy if you want to create feature matrix. I'm thinking of doing one for this YouTube channel with all the videos and what features are present in each of the videos. Anyway, BA Sensei out.